Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So nice to see you. So first off, I'm Michelle Gronning. I'm our Global Chief Transformation Officer at PwC, infinitely invested in the AI journey of both ourselves and our clients. I'm also a very proud Canadian partner, and I work and live in Canada, and Canada has a lot in common with France in terms of we both have, as countries, amazing AI talent. So very proud to be sitting here today with two of our clients as a firm, one from France, one from Canada. So we have Thomas, the CEO of Nickel, which is a very interesting bank. And we have Imran Khan, who is with TD Bank, based in North America, a Canadian headquartered bank, and he's the head of innovation and design. And just to set context maybe for what you'll hear from both of them, I thought it would be a good idea to start by asking them to give you a bit of background on each of the banks and a bit of context on the bank first. So maybe we'll start with you, Thomas.
Yeah, hello. So I'm Thomas. I'm the president of Nickel. Nickel is one card, one account, one IBAN available in 5 minutes through a network of points of sale. Tobacco shops in France, for example, and we are also present in Spain, Portugal, Belgium, and Germany. And we launched our activity 11 years ago, and we captured like 4.5 million customers during these last 11 years.
Nice to meet all of you. Imran Khan, I lead innovation for TD, and TD is a North American bank, as Michelle mentioned. We have about 28 million customers, almost 20 million digitally active customers across North America, and we operate all over Canada and the East Coast, the entire East Coast of the US. And so we'd be a top 2 bank in Canada, top 3, for example, in the state of New York and most of the states that we operate in the US as well. And I'm looking forward to being here and chatting with you guys.
Okay, so as you can see, two very, very different banks with a very different context. So I'm going to start with a question around a passion that I have. We talk about AI in all parts of our business, but what I find the most fascinating is when we talk about AI in the front office of our business. And so I'm going to start with a customer lens. And what I'd really like you to talk about is what you're doing with AI around customer experience, how you serve the customer and therefore how you're generating revenue, and what are some of the things that you're finding as you go on that journey, both of you. So maybe Imran, we'll start with you, and then Thomas, go to you.
Yeah, so we started our journey obviously on the colleague side to be careful and make sure that we always had the human in the loop, and in a way, that was really our first foray to supporting customers, because our colleagues that support customers are now using AI at the front end. And I'll share maybe 2 quick examples. One is in our investment bank, we use AI to do research when a customer calls us to do a deal. These are large deals. Often you don't have a lot of time. You have to do research, advise the customer on whether to do it or not, and it happens very fast. And you're using internal data and external data. So you've got to put together that report. And if you're slow, that takes a lot of time, you either miss the deal or you don't get enough information to, be able to do it the right way. And so you have to be able to do that fast. And so we are using generative AI to generate those reports that can then be used to service and support the customer in making decisions. And these are often large decisions, sometimes billions of dollars exchanged, and it happens very, very fast. And so that's one way. We're also taking a lot of what we learned internally outside of the organization with some of our businesses. We're starting with insurance, and we're using our internal learnings to support our customers in insurance, starting with public data. But we know that's not where it's going to end, because public data, you can get that, you can go to ChatGPT and get that information. Ultimately, it's going to get to your own policy information. Am I covered for this? I'm worried about this. Will I be covered based on my personal policy? Getting information on your account, your support for your your financial life in any form. So that's ultimately where we'll see a differentiation on the customer side, and we're working towards that.
Well, I can share 4 initiatives that we did at Nickel. One which is kind of failure, I will say, and 3 other one maybe more successful. First of all, I must say that Nickel is, of course, a digital actor, a digital player, but also we have a strong physical presence through 12,000 points of sale across Europe. So we also offer a lot of human interactions to our customers. So what we did, so one failure, we launched a chatbot 3 years ago called Nikki for customer assistance, and it appeared that it doesn't bring a lot of satisfaction, and because the technology is already obsolete 3 years after only, and so it required a lot of energy to launch this chatbot, and 3 years after it appears that it's already obsolete. So that's a failure, and we were more successful in 3 other initiatives. The first one is that we developed a tool called Insighter, where we scan all the customer comments on all digital support, meaning on all social networks, on platforms like Trustpilot, Google Play Store, Apple Store, etc. And we capture the feedback of our customer on Nickel, and we can ask questions to this tool, Insighter, to get some very precise feedbacks on our metal card, on the way our customers are sending wire transfer, etc. So, and it helps our team in order to continuously improve the customer journeys. We launched also an assistant for our customer service called Nickel Assist, where our team, our service customer team can ask the question from the client in natural language, and we will give the best answer to our customer service in order to solve the problem of the customer. So we launched this tool 1 year ago. It's quite easy to build because we feed this tool with all our procedure, operational model, etc. And we give the best answer to our team. And then we were able to improve the first call resolution indicator, you know, when you solve the problem of the customer after the first call. So that tool was very successful. And a last one I want to share is more in terms of machine learning. When in some sensitive customer journey, we put some a tool called fraud detect in order to check if the transaction is sensitive or not, and if it is sensitive, if there is a risk of fraud, we will ask additional validation from the customer. So we only focused when there is a risk to put an additional validation from the customer, and it's also it reduces the risk of fraud for the customer while maintaining a good customer experience.
Maybe 2 follow-up questions quickly, because I think in these new things that we're doing with the pace that things are moving, I think we do have to fail sometimes. So how would you comment on the failure and what you learned from it?
Well, what we learned is that maybe the technology was not mature enough to manage directly the interactions with our customer without a human intervention. So we were not ready for that. Maybe we will be ready in the future, but so far we are not, and so we prefer to enhance our own staff, giving them the best advice to solve the problem of the customer, and it brought much more value than the bot we tried 3 years ago.
And Imran, for you, and this is like, as a customer, I'm curious because I haven't stepped foot in a branch in years. Do you see AI accelerating the fact that we won't need physical branches?
That's a great question. I think we have to acknowledge that the pace and scale of innovation right now, it's unprecedented, and we have to acknowledge that. So there's a lot of uncertainty. I do believe that they're ultimately we're servicing humans, and so we will need humans in the process. And branches obviously are important for us from that perspective. But I do see the experience evolving as we augment and support our colleagues and our customers, through self-service or our colleagues through our supported services. That's going to be really critical for us right now, and focusing on the experience ultimately, that we're trying to deliver to the end customer. And to me, we talked about branches closing for a long time, through every sort of evolution that we've had, even when the phone was developed. And, we never saw a significant shift. I think with this change, the experience is going to be a lot better, and we should be able to apply it effectively. So when you come into a branch, the human agent should be able to support you more effectively and have more of the tools that they need, the access to information more quickly, that sort of thing. So it'll improve that human connection, which I think will still be needed.
Okay. Good. They're not coming for all of our jobs. Yeah.
Just maybe, I'm not sure we can oppose AI and physical presence on the field. On our side, on the contrary, we are opening more and more point of sales to allow our customer to do basic operations that they cannot do digitally, like deposit cash or withdrawing cash, things like that, or getting a new card. So I'm not sure we can oppose both things, but it's true that our customer, they don't need to go in branches now to perform a wire transfers, of course.
So the key message is the human interaction remains in both stories. Okay. So now I want to move to the middle office. The middle office is incredibly important. Operations to support the front office to be effective in a bank. You also work in regulated industry. I actually kind of am curious what AI will do to the regulators, but let's put that for a different panel. So talk about some of the things you're doing in operations to support, and any sort of challenges you might be facing because of being in a regulated environment, or even successes that you've had despite that. So maybe Thomas, we'll start with you.
Well, of course, AI is helping us a lot in terms of fighting against fraud, for example, or securing the onboarding journey, the account opening process. And we invested a lot in that field. But it's true that fraudsters also are investing a lot. And they are very well organized, very powerful. So, it's the eternal story of the police and the fraudsters. I don't know who is running the race, but the race is still going on. So we invest a lot in that field, and the challenges that we have, it's true, and challenges that fraudsters may not have, is that we have to be sure that the systems we are building are reliable, that there is a very strong data protection for our customer, and that there is also a good transparency and the capacity to explain what we are doing to the regulators, to our customers. And these are some challenges that we have to have in mind.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Staying connected with the regulators is really important, and making sure they're aware, and that's something that we find benefit in, and they find benefit in as well. I would say for us, one of the biggest learnings, obviously safety and security is critical, and I do think if you can apply the technology, ultimately it does create a better environment. There's more accuracy, improves the experience of your colleagues and your customers, which I believe ultimately creates a overall better environment and a better alignment to the regulators, generally speaking. I'll share an example. We launched an internal knowledge management system where you can ask and get information on policies, procedures, anything you want. We launched it first over a year ago to our contact center. So they take a phone call from a customer, and then they service the customer by finding information. What I learned was they went from an environment where they would have to search multiple policy documents, some of them are hundreds of pages long, to find an answer, to this system that gives them the answer in 7 or 8 lines right away. And the answer is very accurate. 3 weeks in, they're using it for 3 weeks. I went and I talked to them to see what their experience is like. And I kid you not, somebody said, they said, I love it, it's accurate, but Imran, it's 7 or 8 lines long, and I'm on the phone with a customer, it's too long. I can't read it, I can't consume it. That same agent, 3 weeks plus 1 day earlier, would have had to review several 100-page policy documents with the customer on the phone, find the answer, and if they couldn't find the answer, they would have to call somebody else. And so it took 3 weeks for them to complain that it was too long. That's how fast end user expectations will change, and I expect that to continue, and I expect it to evolve very fast, and I think the experience is going to evolve very, very quickly. And you're already seeing moves in the industry. You saw OpenAI acquire Love From, which is Johnny Ive's agency and his company IO. They're focused entirely on the experience and the design of this experience and how to improve it. We're going to see, I believe we're going to see a lot more investment in that space as the model performance continues to improve.
Yeah. Okay, so moving us on to culture, organization, change. I think these topics that sometimes are not talked about enough. When you think of where AI is going, it is going to change how we organize our organizations. So I'm just curious, any stories you can share on the topic of culture, change, even how you're seeing this impact how you organize yourselves, and maybe some of those stories that could benefit the listeners. So, Imran, do you want to go?
The first thing that we recognized very quickly was, when disruption like this happens, like what we're seeing with the AI currently, often it's an industry, you're worried about it from your business strategy perspective for your company. In this case, it's disruption within literally every function of your organization. And the conversations that I have is, it's very simple. You're either going to be disrupted or you're going to do the disrupting, and there's nothing in the middle, because you can't wait. If you're just going to wait, then it's going to happen to you, and that's a big shift. And it's especially for a risk-averse large organization like ours, to have to take action in this way. And there's a change in culture. Part of it is driven by fear, but we don't want it just to be about fear, but we want everyone to really think about their business. And it's very hard to drive exclusively from the center. We really need that culture embedded everywhere in the segments and in every function that we have to drive that change. And it involves education, training, being able to experience sessions like this. Really having leaders kind of get out there and learn as much as they can and connect into the various ecosystems.
How about you?
Yeah, first of all, to use AI, you need to have a good data setup, and we are lucky in Nickel because we are very young. We have a very powerful data lake, and all our data accessible in real time. So it's very, very powerful when you want to use AI. Also, in terms of organization, we recruited 40 data scientists. We are 850 people in Nickel. We have 40 data scientists, 16 in a central team, and the others spread all around the organization to boost the usage of data in order to and to provide good answers to all our business lines and people. Also, we invested a lot in terms of training, of course. Because being able to use the tools that we are delivering needs some good training, and we never put a new tool without a strong training session. And last one, it also affects the way we recruit people. I mentioned the Nickel Assist tool that we developed for our customer service. So it means that the customer service, they don't have to be so expert in terms of banking operation, because we will help them find the good answer. But they have to know how to answer to the customers. And so it's a kind of different expertise that we are looking for now. So we also change the way we recruit people.
Okay. I want to move to my last question before we'll open it up for questions for the audience. So you picked the time horizon, but I want you to predict something on some time horizon as it relates to AI. And you tell me what you think the time horizon is, because this is moving very fast for us. So what's your prediction at the current time?
I'll go first. I think, I think you're gonna see, if you look at any major technology disruption or innovation, I'll use two examples. If you think about mobility and the cell phone, the first cell phone was this large brick phone, and everybody loved it because you could talk from anywhere. So the innovation, the technology was so powerful, everyone loved it. That eventually became an iPhone, and design played a huge role. The experience was fundamentally completely different. If you look at the internet, you can go and get information from anywhere. You don't have to go to an encyclopedia, but it was all text-based, but nobody cared about the experience because it was so amazing. The technology was so powerful and phenomenal that the focus wasn't on the experience. Of course, that evolved over time, and now it's fundamentally very different. I think we're going to see the same thing from AI, and I referenced even OpenAI acquiring a design agency and a device manufacturer. We are going to see significant changes in how this experience is delivered to customers and users. You heard a joke from, if you watched Microsoft Build, Satya Nadella joked about Clippy, the paper clip. That was a big failure. They launched like many years ago. And he joked about it because they're thinking about the UI for AI, and Clippy can be potentially the future of this experience, because that kind of thing that follows you everywhere and is with you no matter where you are, beside you. Jensen Huang this morning talked about a robot that's with you everywhere you go. I think we're going to see something like that. I think it's going to happen probably within the next 5 to 7 years. I'll be more specific and share that time horizon, but I think you're going to see something that's assisting you everywhere you are in every aspect of your life.
Thomas?
Yeah, I think that the evolution is very fast in the financial sector, impacting the customer experience and also our operational efficiency through AI. I see three domains where AI will really change the way we work. First of all, in terms of personalized advice and personalized assistance to our customers. We'll see. We are already seeing it. I see also a lot of impacts in terms of the development of bots or virtual assistants capable of handling more and more complex operations, interactions, etc. I see also a strong investment in terms of fraud management, fighting against fraud, and we are already investing a lot. But as I said, fraudsters also invest a lot in that field. And my last point is that I hope that AI will allow a better access to financial services for everyone. This is also what Nickel was created for, to democratize the access to financial services. And I think that AI can also be a tool to facilitate the access to financial services while simplifying customer journeys. And so I'm quite optimistic in that field.
Yeah, very good purpose. I will just say that before the end of VivaTech this year, one of the people that works in our amazing AI factory globally will have come up with the next innovation, most likely inspired by one of our clients. And I'm quite positive that will happen before the weekends. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions from the audience.
Good afternoon. Thank you both. That was really, really interesting, thrilling. I loved particularly your last answers there. Maybe a bit of a tough question for you. You're both in the same industry and in some areas compete, I believe. What is it that you wish you had about the other's business model? And what advice would you give to each other if you were in each other's shoes?
I can start. I think it's easy for me because we don't have a nickel. We don't have, what BNP Paribas has done with nickel. And so having an offering like that to increase access, a neobank, that would be fantastic. So that would be what I am very impressed with. And of course, Thomas is the CEO. And then what advice would I give? I mean, I would say, one of the things for us, we've tried to do a neobank, and sometimes we get very sensitive to market dynamics, changes in rates, things like that can often affect the business. But just preserving that strong commitment, I think, is really important, and making sure you're committed to the offering for your customers and the experience that you're delivering.
Yeah, and for me the answer will be a bit particular because we are a neobank, a fintech, but belonging to a large group like BNP Paribas. So we are also benefiting from the support of BNP Paribas while keeping the agility of a startup like Nickel. So we are combining the best of both worlds. We try to. But yes, so we have a very strong agility, but we also need the expertise and the experience of a large group, and also the investment capacity.
Any other questions from the group?
Okay, I don't know if my English is going to be good. It's a question for you, Thomas. You're speaking about democratizing financial aspect through simplification, etc. Do you think that someday, I may say, analphabet people or people who don't know how to read and write would access to a kind of financial education, being able to understand this word?
I understand clearly your question, and this is exactly what we are trying to do already. We are giving access to a bank account, to all the modern means of payment, to people who until now were excluded of this kind of offer. So we are very proud of that, and we are fighting very strong so that everyone can use a Nickel account. For example, we were among the first one in France to launch a small notch on your card so that blind people can use their card. We developed a customer service accessible for deaf people in sign language. What else? Our customer service and our app are available in French and in English in France for people who cannot speak well a good French. So yeah, and another example, when you read your operations on your app, we did it very simply so that you can see the logo of the merchant or the logo of the store. How did you pay? Did I pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay? Did I pay with my card, contactless, or inserting the card and with setting my typing my PIN code? Where was the shop with the exact address? You can see it on the map, etc. So helping people reading their operations, and we are also in real time, meaning that it's always very easy for our customer to know how much they have on their account. I mean, you know instantly how many you have on your account. And it's like the pocket of your pant. You know exactly how much do you have in your pocket. This is the same with Nickel. So yes, we are really trying to help people to use Nickel in a very simple manner, and in some way we are educating people to manage their daily budget.
Okay, I think we are at time, so I want to thank both of you. I want to wish you the most success and security in your continued AI journey, both with and from AI. And thank you both for coming and speaking today and allowing the audience to learn from your journey.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.